Hello and welcome back to the channel. The manhwa we are going to recap today is about a girl who found her longtime crush as her boss. So let's begin our recap. The long fingers swirling around the wine glass are so sexy. The long neck tilting back to down the whiskey looks just as good. And that hair, oh holy hell. Just like all the other women tripping over him in the club, she sees it too. But even so, having a one-night stand with him is definitely not on her checklist. A woman should be dignified, blah blah. That's what her parents used to tell her all the time. She lived like that and still got betrayed by her own boyfriend. So now, she wonders if it's okay for her to lose it all here over this stranger. He says to her that he wanted to do this with her the moment he saw her in the club. Jisoo wakes up from her nap, thinking why, of all people, this man keeps clinging to her in her dreams like that. It's 4 in the morning. Still early. So finally, she gets ready to leave for the company. As she bows while leaving, her mom tells her to be good at work. Then her mom points out that there's a stain on the top of her shoe. Jisoo says okay, she'll clean it, but the way she bends to wipe it off doesn't seem liked by her parents. Her mom says it's okay, she'll wipe it for her, and sits down to start cleaning it herself. Jisoo's brother comes out, asking if she's going to the park, but seeing him in nothing but underwear makes their mother snap and lash out at him, yelling why he's dressed like that in front of his sister. But Jisoo thinks it's rather a good chance to sneak out now than to hear their tantrums. And just like that, she leaves for work. At the company's distribution team 1, Seojin comes in with free coffee for everyone. The pink-haired baddie tells Jisoo that they should go ask for it too and get some coffee. Jisoo replies that she'll come after completing her work. During the coffee break, the news is going around that the new executive is the grandson of the chairman of BH Group. Seojin feels that he's not just a nepo baby, but also really capable. The pink-haired baddie teases Jisoo, asking if she's happy, since the new executive director is rumored to be rather handsome too. But Jisoo, ever nonchalant, says she doesn't care who comes. After all, she just needs to do a better job in the end. Then she checks her phone and sees a text from Jihoon. It's basically him asking for money. Little brothers are just like that. Jisoo tells her teammates that she's going to give some money to her brother. So she's heading down for a bit. She gives him the money and asks him to pay her back properly this time. As always, he swears he's going to pay her back in 3 years with double the amount. She shrugs and says okay, whatever, and goes back into the company. While waving her goodbye, he stays behind. As she walks inside again, she wonders whether she might see that handsome one-night stand guy again. She bows and sees a tall guy standing there. She goes up to him, asking if he's here as a guest, but as soon as she sees his face, girl trips. It's her one-night stand guy. She spirals. What the hell is this guy doing here? What the hell is this guy? Jisoo thinks to herself with overwhelming amazement that this unexpected meeting feels exactly like a vivid dream that has somehow become reality. The mysterious man she saw so clearly in last night's intense dream is now standing directly before her in real life, looking even more handsome and compelling than her memory recalled. The same man she met by complete chance at that crowded club exactly 5 years ago, during a night she has never been able to forget. No person on earth could possibly forget that perfectly sculpted face if they met him even once in their lifetime. He has somehow become much more handsome, mature, and sophisticated over the years that have passed. Jisoo gasps, audibly thinking to herself with confusion what exactly is happening in this surreal moment. The man says calmly that director Lim Man-cheol has arrived here for the scheduled business meeting. Jisoo becomes completely shocked and flustered as she accidentally drops her identification card onto the floor. The man smoothly picks it up and looks at it carefully, reading the name Kim Jisoo out loud with recognition. He hands it back, saying here she goes. Jisoo says thank you gratefully while trying to control her racing heartbeat. She thinks desperately to herself that he probably does not remember her from that night years ago. Right? There is no way he would recall one woman from so long ago. Jisoo nervously says they should head inside to the meeting room, as she has already contacted the general manager before his arrival as requested. One of the workers becomes all startled and excited as he says, "Oh my goodness, he is actually here. He heard through company communications that he would come tomorrow instead, so it is truly his great pleasure to meet him today." He addresses him formally as Mr. Representative. Jisoo becomes all shocked, thinking frantically to herself, Mr. Representative? She tells herself desperately not to let this be true. She wonders with growing panic if that mysterious man is actually the famous grandson of President Park of the powerful BH Group that everyone has been talking about. The man extends his hand professionally and says it is nice to meet him in person. He introduces himself clearly as Park Hyun-woo, the new representative of this company branch. Jisoo thinks to herself with racing thoughts that his hand moves towards the general manager in a business handshake, but his intense eyes are focused directly on her face, studying her reaction. The worker tells Mr. Representative respectfully to please come inside the prepared meeting room. He enters the building, and the female worker says with excitement, "Oh, that handsome person is the famous Representative Park Hyun-woo, right?" She says, gosh, he is even more incredibly handsome in real life than in all the professional photos she has seen. Park looks up thoughtfully as the nervous worker explains that he was in a great hurry to decorate the meeting room properly to welcome Mr. Representative, but he does not know if the arrangements will meet his high standards. Park sighs slightly and says there will probably be many things that need to be changed and improved. The worker says, "Oh, is that really so?" He asks him to please let him know what changes are needed. Park says he will definitely do that, so the worker does not need to worry about it right now, and then asks if he can see the complete staff list for this branch. The worker says, yes, absolutely. He will contact the HR department immediately to give him the comprehensive list right away. He asks politely if he needs anything else for the meeting. Park says he wants to see all the employee resumes also for his review. He thinks privately to himself Kim Jisoo, the name he has never forgotten. He did not expect in his wildest dreams that they would meet again in this workplace of all places. She is the woman he has been actively looking for during 5 long years of searching. His mind travels back to that night 5 years ago in the crowded nightclub where everything began. One of his friends waves enthusiastically and says, "Hey, Park Hyun-woo." He asks with curiosity why he came to a fun club wearing a formal business suit. Park explains simply that he came here straight from the company after working late. One of his other concerned friends says he is going to die young because of excessive work stress and asks if he has not met anyone romantically recently. The friends say, "Hey, knock it off with the teasing." He acts like a complete pervert when it comes to work. He cares much more about the sales growth charts and business reports than even beautiful women. Park's attention becomes completely focused when he hears a woman's voice say, "Whoa, what a complete waste of those incredible looks." She says, wow, she really likes this particular one. Jisoo says to her friends that she has practiced dancing quite a bit recently to improve her skills. Park becomes completely frozen in place as the men around him say excitedly that they should all dance together. And another one asks, what is this sudden bustling excitement about? He observes that those are just normal dance moves and asks if she might be an intern at some company perhaps. He comments that her face looks innocent and pure, but her dancing is really beautiful and captivating to watch. Jisoo looks up with tears forming in her eyes, and Park gets very flustered and concerned as he stands up quickly, and one of the men says he already likes her a lot, so she belongs to him now. The men ask Hyun-woo with confusion where he is going so suddenly. Park positions himself beside the stairs as Jisoo is passing through the area, and Park asks her gently if she is heading home soon. He smiles warmly and looks directly at her with genuine interest. Jisoo responds that yes, she came back before the last train ride of the night. Park says so she maintains a good, responsible lifestyle and schedule. Earlier he observed that she probably wanted to forget something painful that was bothering her deeply. He asks with concern if she really wants to forget many difficult things from her past. Jisoo becomes surprised by his perceptive observation and genuine concern. Park extends his hand invitingly and asks what if she stays with him just a bit more tonight instead of going home alone. Jisoo slowly takes his offered hand, and Park thinks to himself that she slowly and carefully took his hand, so he thought optimistically that he would have the chance to meet her again someday in the future. He did not expect at all that he would always long for her constantly after that magical night 5 years ago. He never thought they would meet again like this in such an unexpected professional setting. He has been actively looking and searching for her for such a long time, Kim Jisoo. This time he is determined that he will absolutely not miss his chance with her again. Jisoo tells her concerned mother yes, she managed to get off work exactly on time today for once. A good friend from her past asked her to stop by for just a bit, so she is heading over to meet her now. She clarifies that no, it is not Ji-yu that her mother might be thinking of. It is actually a college friend she probably does not know whose name is Heejin. She explains that yes, Heejin specifically asked her to help her pick out some special clothes for an important occasion. She promises her mother that she will make absolutely sure to get home without being late and causing any worry. Jisoo thinks to herself that she just got an unexpected call from her old friend. Hyejin asks with some confusion, "Oh, Jisoo, where exactly is she right now?" Jisoo responds that she's standing right in front of the impressive department store's main entrance as they had arranged. Hyejin tells her to go inside with the professional staff members who have already come outside to greet her personally. One of the well-dressed staff members approaches politely and asks if she is Ms. Kim Jisoo. She explains that Ms. Yoon Hyejin is currently waiting for her in the exclusive VIP lounge upstairs. She will personally escort her there right away. Jisoo thinks to herself with amazement about how the department store staff members are even coming outside to greet customers personally. She reflects on how VIP customers are truly treated in such a completely different way than regular shoppers. It has been quite a while since she has had the opportunity to see Hyejin in person. Jisoo tilts her head thoughtfully and smiles warmly at the anticipation of their reunion. Hyejin says with genuine excitement, "Jisoo, it has been such a long time since they last met." Jisoo responds enthusiastically, "Hyejin, how has she been doing all this time?" Hyejin says wow and looks her up and down carefully, then says she takes a thorough glance at her appearance and observes that she has become such a boring, typical office worker. She asks curiously, where exactly did she say she works these days? She wonders if it is a pretty strict and conservative workplace based on her appearance. Jisoo begins to explain that, their company is actually quite reasonable when she gets completely cut off by the staff member saying that everything is perfectly ready for their shopping session. The staff member brings out an elegant dress and Hyejin says, "Oh my goodness, have the new clothes she ordered finally arrived?" She exclaims that it is so incredibly pretty and perfect, like something designed specifically for a birthday party. She declares that she totally loves it and will definitely wear this particular outfit. Hyejin tells Jisoo excitedly that she is going to go change into the dress right now, to which Jisoo responds okay with encouragement. Jisoo sits down on the luxurious sofa comfortably and thinks to herself that it definitely looks like an invitation to some kind of birthday party celebration. She opens the expensive envelope carefully and becomes startled to see the name of Clubmaid printed on the invitation. She wonders with growing panic why this place of all possible venues. This is exactly the same club where she met that mysterious guy 5 long years ago. And now that same guy has become the executive director of their company, where she works every day. If there is any chance at all that he actually remembers her from that night, this could become incredibly complicated and embarrassing. Hyejin emerges from the changing room and asks Jisoo cheerfully what does she think of her new look. Jisoo becomes joyful and says, "Wow, she looks absolutely stunning and beautiful." Hyejin asks with concern if she looks even a little bit chubby in this outfit. Jisoo reassures her that she actually thinks she looks much skinnier than she did back when they were in college together. Hyejin comfortably plops down on the sofa, saying, "Oh, really? That observation is such a relief to hear." She explains that actually lately she has been working incredibly hard on her strict diet and doing Pilates exercises regularly. She reveals with excitement that she is getting married very soon. Jisoo becomes startled and asks with surprise, "Married?" Hyejin says yes enthusiastically and suggests that they should move somewhere else more private. She says they should talk much more about this important news over there in a quieter setting. They relocate to sit in a beautiful private room, decorated with an elegant piano and some expensive food laid out for them. Hyejin explains that she has not set an exact wedding date yet, but she supposes she could confidently say that she, Yoon Hyejin, has finally accepted her predetermined fate as a wealthy chaebol's wife. Hyejin sighs deeply with mixed emotions as she says she is seriously planning to get married right after this upcoming birthday party celebration. Jisoo asks with curiosity if she already has someone specific to marry. Hyejin says yes, she definitely does. She admits that she has only seen a professional picture of him, but she already finds herself wanting him desperately. Jisoo asks with interest if he is good-looking. She wants to know what he is like as a person. Hyejin becomes all flustered and rants passionately about how he is honestly the most handsome guy she has ever seen in her entire life. She then asks Jisoo directly if she does not have anyone special in her romantic life. Jisoo responds honestly that no, she does not have anyone currently. Then she suddenly says, "Oh!" She asks Hyejin if she happens to remember the time they went to Clubmaid exactly 5 years ago together. Hyejin says she does not really remember that night clearly and asks why she is bringing it up. Jisoo stutters nervously while trying to explain that she actually met the guy she encountered back then at her current workplace recently. Hyejin scoffs dismissively and says, "So what if she did?" She points out that the guys who regularly go to that particular club probably meet so many different women that they would not even remember any single one of them anyway. Hye-jin says with a puzzled expression that she is genuinely surprised that Jisoo even remembers that specific guy from so long ago. She asks with concern if there were any serious problems that occurred that night. Hye-jin says, oh no, there were not any major issues. Jisoo thinks to herself that Hye-jin probably does not know the full truth, that she actually slept with that guy that night. She has never talked about those intimate details with anyone. She reflects that maybe executive director Park Hyun-woo is simply one of those typical guys who meets many different women and then completely forgets about them afterward. She might just be one of the countless women he has spent a single night with at various clubs over the years. Jisoo looks at her own reflection in the glass window as she thinks sadly to herself that even if that passionate night was both her very first and her very last intimate encounter with any man. The scene cuts dramatically to Park sitting alone in his office, thinking to himself that it is already getting quite late in the evening. He wonders if he might have overdone his work on the very first day at this new position. He observes that there are still several teams working overtime to finish their projects. He finds himself wondering if Kim Jisoo has already left work for the day yet. Park suddenly hears someone calling out, "Oh?" Park looks back with curiosity as one of the young men says with excitement, "Is that really him, Senior Park Hyun-woo?" The man exclaims with joy that it is really him, Ji-hoon. He asks eagerly if Park remembers him from their previous meeting. They met a few years ago at the mountain retreat event. Park says, "Ah, Ji-hoon." Of course he remembers him clearly. He recalls that Ji-hoon asked him many questions back during that time. He asks what brings him to this area tonight. Ji-hoon explains enthusiastically that he started an exciting startup company with some of his college classmates, and they have established their office nearby in this district. He invites Park warmly to please come visit their new office sometime. He tells him that he is always welcome there anytime. Park responds that, he will actually be starting his new work here next week as well at this location. Ji-hoon asks with surprise here at this building. He wonders if Park transferred from his position at BH Group headquarters. Park confirms that yes, that is exactly right. As he hands over his professional business card, Ji-hoon exclaims with amazement, "Wow." He reads the title Executive Director. He asks for clarification if he means Seoul Construction Company. Park says yes, that is correct, and asks what the problem might be. Ji-hoon says, well, the interesting thing is that his older sister actually works at that exact same company. He realizes that Park is going to become his sister's direct boss very soon. Park asks with growing interest about his sister. Ji-hoon tells him earnestly to please take good care of her at work. He explains that she is Kim Jisoo from the Sales Team 1 department. Park's eyes light up with recognition and excitement as Ji-hoon shrugs casually and says, well, his sister honestly knows nothing in life but the company and her work responsibilities, so there is really nothing to worry about regarding her performance. However, he admits that he is somewhat worried that she is far too innocent and naive, especially since she has never even had an alcoholic drink in her entire life. Park thinks to himself with surprise and confusion if Ji-hoon is really saying that all she knows is work and home life, and she cannot even handle drinking alcohol. He finds it hard to believe that the hot and passionate woman he remembers could be so sheltered. Sure, it was quite surprising that she seemed new to intimate experiences back then, but this description seems extreme. He feels a strong desire to know much more about her current life and personality. Park says to Ji-hoon politely if he has a moment to spare for conversation. Ji-hoon responds, oh, of course he has time. Park says that it was really nice to meet him again like this in such an unexpected way, and he offers to buy him a drink so they can catch up properly. As they are having a drink together at the small restaurant, Ji-hoon exclaims with enthusiasm that from now on, he will be completely loyal to him, senior. The alcohol has clearly loosened his tongue and made him more expressive than usual. Park responds calmly that there is really no need for that kind of formal loyalty. Ji-hoon mentions earnestly that he is not even a soil construction employee like his sister, so this relationship means something different to him. Ji-hoon yells out with conviction that one day there will definitely be a moment when Park will need him, and he wants to be ready for that time. While being clearly drunk and swaying slightly in his seat, he then calmly asks with curiosity if Park is not the famous legend of their architecture department, senior. He heard from various people that Park pulled off some truly incredible and innovative projects at BH Construction too, which has made him somewhat of a celebrity in their field. Park says thoughtfully that, well, he has certainly done enough challenging work at BH Construction over the years, but now he is much more interested in finding a place with lots of room for innovation and creative freedom. Park thinks quietly to himself that Hyun-woo should go and save soil construction from its current troubles. The truth is, it was originally a request from his powerful grandfather disguised as his personal favor, but in reality it was more of a direct order that he could not refuse. Ji-hoon munches enthusiastically on his food and says with admiration, as expected of him, "Senior." He is truly on a completely different level from those old-fashioned and rigid corporate executives who never take risks. Park says warmly that he also genuinely admires Ji-hoon's rebellious spirit of challenge in choosing to reject the conventional life of an ordinary office worker. Park asks with growing curiosity if his sister is very different from him in terms of personality and lifestyle. Ji-hoon yawns tiredly and says, like he mentioned earlier, she is basically someone who knows absolutely nothing but work and home in her daily routine. She is such a boring and predictable person. She literally cannot even breathe properly without those two safe things anchoring her life. Park asks with interest if she ever dances or goes out to clubs for entertainment. Ji-hoon chuckles loudly and says, "Clubs? Oh, no way. She is the complete opposite of someone like that. She is almost old-fashioned in a very traditional way that would surprise most people their age." Ji-hoon suddenly says, "Oh, look, a text message just came from his sister right now. She probably sent it to relay their parents. Constant nagging as usual, since that is her typical role in the family." Ji-hoon turns his phone screen towards Park so he can see as Park reads the text message from Jisoo saying, "Ji-hoon, where is he right now? He knows he has to take the neighbors downstairs to the airport tomorrow morning, right? Get home soon and do not stay out too late." Park asks with curiosity if the neighbors downstairs are going abroad or something important. Ji-hoon says yes with a slight sadness. Their son was actually his father's former student, and the whole family is emigrating to another country for better opportunities. They have known them for a very long time, so they are taking them to the airport to say a proper goodbye. Park asks thoughtfully, "Emigrating? So does that mean the downstairs apartment is now completely empty and available?" Ji-hoon says he guesses so and mentions that it has not sold yet, even though it has been listed on the market for quite a while now. The apartment building is so old that parking is really tough for residents, and there is a lot of maintenance that needs expensive repairing. Honestly, he really wants to move out and live independently in a small studio apartment himself, but his parents are both traditional teachers, so they are very conservative and controlling about his life choices. Park thinks quietly to himself that maybe she has been living a secret double life because of her overly conservative parents who limit her freedom. The scene cuts to Jisoo lying restlessly in her bed as she cannot fall asleep at all, since she keeps thinking obsessively about Heejin, saying earlier that the guys who come to clubs probably meet so many different women they cannot even remember them individually. Jisoo thinks anxiously to herself that if the executive director is just like Heejin described, that would actually be a huge relief, right? At least she will not be seen as some promiscuous employee who crossed professional boundaries. Jisoo tries desperately sleeping in complete silence but gets increasingly frustrated and finally gets up from her bed as she holds her throbbing head, saying to herself that should she even be worrying about this ridiculous situation? Whether she is seen as promiscuous or not by her colleagues, it does not even have anything to do with her actual work performance anyway. To do the job well, she needs to be completely focused on professional matters. Jisoo lets out a big, tired sigh and thinks to herself with growing concern, "What time is it now exactly?" She exclaims with shock as she realizes it is already 1:30 a.m. Jisoo quickly grabs her phone while saying to herself that, come to think of it, she has not heard the familiar sound of the front door lock opening yet tonight. Is Ji-hoon still outside drinking even after she sent that urgent message telling him to come home? She calls him with growing worry, and Ji-hoon answers in a slurred voice saying, "Hello? Is this someone calling?" Jisoo exclaims with frustration and says, "Hey, Kim Ji-hoon? What is he still doing outside at this late hour?" Ji-hoon, all drunk and barely coherent, says sis, sneakily mussed with no clear meaning behind his words. Jisoo yells with alarm and says, "What is he trying to say? Is he completely drunk? Hey, answer her properly." Jisoo asks with concern where exactly he is right now. She will immediately send a taxi to pick him up safely. A different voice is suddenly heard saying hello politely. Is she by any chance Ji-hoon's older sister? He introduces himself as Ji-hoon's senior colleague. Ji-hoon is really quite drunk, so he is personally taking him home to make sure he gets there safely. Jisoo thinks to herself with confusion that this voice sounds somewhat familiar, but she cannot quite place where she has heard it before. Jisoo says, "Ah, really? That is very kind of him. Did Ji-hoon manage to tell him their correct address? Park says yes, clearly. They are currently standing in front of Blue Apartments complex. Which specific building is it? Jisoo quickly gets ready while throwing on clothes, saying it is building 201. Please wait just a moment. She is coming down right now. Jisoo sprints out of her apartment and down the stairs as Park picks up the heavily drunk Ji-hoon. Jisoo was completely shocked as she spots Park standing there. She stutters while saying, with disbelief, "Executive Director! What brings him here at this time of night? Oh, so he is Ji-hoon's senior and also the executive director?" Park says calmly that while they were having a drink earlier this evening, he heard from Ji-hoon that she is his older sister. It is quite nice to see her again, Jisoo. Jisoo comes closer, saying thank you so much, Executive Director. She will take him inside now and handle everything from here. She observes Ji-hoon drinking like this as he gets all wobbly and unsteady. Jisoo says whoa with concern. Park asks with genuine concern if she is okay handling this situation. He thinks it is probably better if he helps handle this since Ji-hoon is quite heavy. Can they take the elevator up together? They get in the small elevator as Park asks if they are going to the 9th floor, based on what Ji-hoon mentioned earlier. Jisoo says yes nervously. The elevator ride gets very awkward and tense with the silence, as Park looks directly at her and says Kim Jisoo in a serious tone. Jisoo says yes, with surprise at the sudden attention. He says he genuinely looks forward to working with her on upcoming projects. Jisoo bows down respectfully, saying likewise, she hopes to do good work. Park says he will probably be asking a lot of detailed questions if there is anything she does not know about procedures. It is just that he honestly feels more comfortable with her than with Director Lim for some reason. Jisoo says her. She thinks to herself with confusion, ugh, what is going on exactly? Is she being specifically watched by him? The elevator doors open as Park says they have finally arrived at her floor. Jisoo opens the apartment door as Ji-hoon practically sleeps on the doorstep. Jisoo says hey, he should go in and sleep properly. What is he doing out here in the hallway? She bows down politely to Park, saying thank you so much for bringing him here safely, Executive Director. She will definitely have a serious word with Ji-hoon later about his drinking. Take care then and get home safely, Park says Kim Jisoo in a meaningful tone. Does she not remember him at all? As he holds the door open and stares at her intently. Jisoo sees him and immediately thinks that it seems like he knows. Of course he does. She says to him, oh, she doesn't remember. Girl, maybe girl dementia. That's the only excuse she can come up with. She is fully doing an Oscar-level performance, acting like it's her first time meeting him, asking if he's sure he's not mistaking her for someone else. After all, she's got a pretty common face. Hyun can clearly see that she's avoiding eye contact. So obvious. It's damn obvious that she's doing it on purpose. It seems like that's her way of saying she doesn't remember him at all. Well, if that's the case, then he's going with her too this time. Hyun says that maybe she's right. He must have just mistaken her for someone else. He tells her he'll take his leave so she can head inside, and that they'll catch up again in the office later. She's like, yes, go. But deep down, she really wants to tell him to never come back ever again. He smiles in a way that makes it look like all he needs to do is jog her memory a little. Back at her house, Jisoo is spiraling. If he really remembers her, then that means he'll expect her to also remember the past. She's almost getting a headache from all this. Girl really wants to bawl her eyes out. He just had to be the executive director of all people. She takes out all her anger on her brother Roy, shouting at him to go sleep in his bed. He was not budging at all. But the way Hyun brought him in, it seems like bro got some biceps. For some reason, Roy even feels more intimidating to her now. The next morning, in the meeting, Hyun announces to the entire team that he is the new executive director of this place, and that he will be working with them from now on. He says he's looking forward to working with everyone. All the office workers are yapping to her about how insanely handsome he is. He goes straight to meet Manager Ju first. Then he meets Seo-jin. Seems like this bro already has all their names memorized and imprinted in his head. And finally, he goes to Jisoo. She says to him that she's going to work really hard. As their hands leave each other in a handshake, he makes that little touch on her hand. So subtle, yet so intentional. He is clearly not planning to go slow. While the other staff are super happy and hyped to be working with such a handsome man, Seo-jin looks confused seeing Jisoo blush like that. After the introductions are complete, Hyun asks the director to pull up the file he organized on the 5-year sales margin. With that, he goes back to his podium. He announces that there are going to be many changes in Seoul construction moving forward. Everyone is free to throw out their outdated practices into the garbage can. They need to grow and rely solely on BH Influencer as a developer. Soon he's going to be forming a new business team, and he says that anyone who's interested should actively participate. He also says that office dinners are the lady of office work, so he's going to move them to work hours. All the staff go crazy happy over this. With that, they all head down to the barbecue station, grilling meat and having beer. What a life. Hyun tells them that if anyone still wants to work late today, he's not going to stop them. He sees that Jae-soo is having her meal. He gets up and sits in front of her, saying she should have a drink too. Seo-yoon tells him that their Jae-soo can't handle alcohol, and that she's never seen her drink ever. Hye-seon stares at her and asks if she really can't drink alcohol. She tells him that yes, this is true. She can't handle alcohol at all, and soju doesn't suit her. Then he asks the teasing question, if she doesn't drink, then why does she go to places like clubs? That makes her flush immediately. Seo-yoon starts to nudge her, teasing if she's really been to a club before. Jae-soo stands up suddenly, saying she's going to be at the restroom for a while. Seems like Hyun is enjoying this a lot. In the restroom, she's all done. Why is Hyun bringing that up like that? As if he's really not going to pretend that he doesn't know her. She even starts thinking if she's going to be okay working at this company at all. The next day, Hyun is seen hurrying through the contract signing process at the real estate office. It's for the blue apartment building, Unit 803 on the second floor. He starts to praise Manager Oh for finding this place. But Yoo questions whether he's really sure about it, since the apartment is quite old and doesn't have a parking lot. Hyun assures him that there's a public parking space not too far away, and he doesn't mind walking a little. He then asks Yoo if he wants to be involved with the interior design, but Hyun replies that he will discuss it directly with the designer, so Yoo doesn't have to worry about that part. Yoo reminds him that he has a dinner scheduled with the director at 6 p.m. today at a Chinese restaurant. Hyun is already prepared for it, as he's expecting an update about the company during that dinner. Later that evening at the restaurant, the secretary guides him to the private room where the chairman is already waiting. As Hyun enters, the chairman comments on how difficult it has become to even catch a glimpse of him these days. They exchange initial greetings, after which the chairman asks how he's been doing. Hyun scoffs, thinking the chairman already knows everything, so asking seems pointless. The chairman watches his attitude with disapproval and wonders where Hyun picked up such a nasty demeanor. Hyun casually responds that he got it from him. Who else could it be? The chairman tells him not to take things to heart, acknowledging that Hyun performed well at BH Company too. Hyun isn't offended and expresses that he's glad to have plenty of competent people at his side. The chairman is pleased to hear that, but warns him not to treat those people as mere tools to grow his business. He knows it's difficult for Hyun to change his unsocial personality, but insists that it's better to meet people with sincerity, even if it takes effort. Hyun says he is working on that part. The chairman thinks to himself that perhaps things would go more smoothly for Hyun if he had a woman by his side. Just then, the secretary informs them that Miss Yeon Hye-jin from the Only Beauty line will be arriving shortly. The chairman tells Hyun that he invited Yeon Hye-jin to dinner so the atmosphere wouldn't be too dull, and advises him to be nice to her. Hyun smirks and says that's exactly why he invited someone too, someone the chairman knows quite well. That someone turns out to be Junwon, who arrives and greets the chairman. Hyun explains that since Junwon is always buried in work, he figured this might be a good opportunity for him to find a wife. Junwon is caught off guard, confused about where this is suddenly coming from. Yoon Hye-jin arrives soon after, gleaming from head to toe, and notices that there's another guest already seated. Junwon introduces himself to her as Hyun's childhood friend, and adds that he only came because Hyun insisted, wanting to catch up. Hyun then gets up, saying they can all enjoy their meal now, but he himself has other things to attend to, so he'll be leaving. The chairman grows irritated with his attitude, and even Yoon Hye-jin tries to act familiar and touchy with him, but Hyun glares at her, pulls away, and exits. Meanwhile, Jae-soo is talking about Haejin's birthday party, excitedly mentioning that all the dance club members are going to be there. She encourages Ji-yoo to come too, but it seems like Ji-yoo has no interest. Jisoo starts to scold her, saying that she really needs to loosen up a little, have some fun, dance, and maybe even drink. But she freezes when Ji-yoo dryly suggests that maybe they can throw in some dancing and guys as well. Ji-yoo is now on the verge of losing it all after realizing that the man she had a one-night stand with is none other than the executive director. The worst part is, he remembers everything clearly. And judging by his expression, it seems like he has absolutely no intention of pretending it never happened. She sighs, assuming he probably thinks of her as some kind of promiscuous employee, though that would also make him the promiscuous boss. Ji-woo doesn't know what to make of it, but she has a strange feeling there might be another reason behind his behavior. Perhaps, just maybe, he's actually into her. The idea alone makes her blush. Later, she lies in bed, completely unable to fall asleep. The loud voices and endless construction noise are driving her insane. She steps out of her room and finds her brother already sitting outside. He tells her their mom and dad went out for a walk. Seems like neither of them could sleep with all the noise either. From the sound of it, someone is moving into the apartment next door. She sighs, wondering when this chaos will finally end. The notice posted in the elevator says the work will wrap up by the end of the week, but her brother is still furious. Starting that early in the morning, especially on weekends, feels too much like he actually has a job or something. The next day, Ji-soo tries to calm him down, reminding him that since they're going to be neighbors, it's best not to get on the bad side of whoever's moving in. But he insists that's exactly why he should set clear boundaries from the beginning. Who knows what the new person might be like? She decides to tag along with him anyway. Eventually, they reach the apartment, and it's even louder here. They head straight to meet the landlord, but the moment the man turns around, both Ji-soo and her brother freeze in shock. It's Hyun. Now at a nearby cafe, the three of them sit awkwardly. Ji-soo's brother stares at Hyun in disbelief, feeling a mix of embarrassment and curiosity. He wonders aloud how the director ended up living in the same apartment complex as them. Hyun explains that when he drove him back that day, he took a look at the building and thought it wasn't so bad. Plus, it's not far from the office. But Ji-soo's brother starts getting sneaky, asking if there's any transport development or urban renewal project happening in the area. Maybe even a chance at redevelopment? Hyun tells him there's nothing like that going on. Still, Ji-soo's brother says he can trust him. He's good at keeping secrets. Hyun shrugs, saying he can think whatever he wants, but there's no secret project behind his decision. Looking at Ji-soo, he adds that he's simply here to find something. Ji-soo shivers unexpectedly, but her brother grows even more excited, asking if there are diamonds or gold buried under the building. Hyun wonders if he doesn't have anything better to do, but Ji-soo's brother insists that he has plenty of free time. Turning back to Ji-soo, Hyun says that now they're neighbors outside of work too, so she doesn't need to be so stiff around him. Her brother gets overly excited, assuming they already get along well. Hyun agrees with a casual yes, but Ji-soo instantly shoots it down, insisting they don't. Her brother laughs, saying the director knows her, but she's just a mere employee who knows nothing about him. Ji-soo stammers, saying she does know him, but only because he's the director. Still, even just admitting that feels like it would drag up memories of that one-night stand. Hyun smirks, saying that either way, they'll get along. He then asks if they're here to complain about the renovation noise. Ji-soo's brother quickly switches gears, saying the renovations aren't a problem at all. He says he has things to do and gets up to leave first, leaving the two of them alone to chat. Ji-soo can't believe he actually abandoned her like that. Hyun looks at her and asks if she feels the same way about the noise. Ji-soo tells him that the site is really loud, and like everyone else, she likes to sleep in on weekends. Hyun assures her he'll try to speed things up. Then he says that if there's anything else she wants to talk about, or if she's curious about anything, she should feel free to ask. Ji-soo hesitates, asking what she's supposed to be curious about. He repeats that she can ask him anything. So she asks if he's adjusting well to the company, if there's anything bothering him, and, most importantly, why he decided to move downstairs. But all his answers are relaxed and vague, giving her nothing substantial to latch onto. With nothing else to say, she remains quiet. Hyun tells her he would have loved to talk with her a little longer, but he's got plans. When she asks about the bill, he says it's already paid. Outside, the two of them walk together. Just when she tries to take another step to slip away and avoid him, a bicycle comes speeding toward her. Hyun reaches out, grabbing her and pulling her into his arms. Park nearly saves Ji-soo from getting hit by a rushing bike that comes speeding around the corner without warning. He asks with genuine concern if she is okay after the close call. Ji-soo, all flustered and shaken, backs off quickly from him, and Park was quite startled by her sudden reaction to his help. Ji-soo says breathlessly, "Ah yes, she is fine now," thanks to him stepping in at the right moment. Park asks with worry if she is having trouble sleeping because of all the loud construction noise at his house during the day. She looks like she feels a little lightheaded and unsteady on her feet right now. He says with concern that this situation will not do at all, since it is quite dangerous for her to be walking around in this condition, so let them go together for safety. Where did she say she was originally headed to this morning? Jisoo says nervously that it is fine, and she thinks anxiously to herself, oh no, this is terrible. Now she cannot even run away from this awkward situation like she planned. Park asks thoughtfully if they need to stop by anywhere specific on the way to their destination. Jisoo says, oh, actually now that she thinks about it more carefully, she will probably stop by that place later instead. How about they head home for now since it is getting late? Park says let them go together then since they live in the same building. Jisoo thinks uncomfortably to herself that this whole situation is incredibly awkward, and she does not know how to handle it. A middle-aged woman approaches them saying with curiosity, who is this handsome man? Is this not Jisoo from the apartment building? Jisoo bows down politely saying, oh hello ma'am, good morning. The friendly woman asks with great interest if that tall man is her boyfriend, Jisoo? Jisoo, all flustered and embarrassed, says urgently, no, he is definitely not her boyfriend. The lady says with a knowing smile, oh sure, of course. He is such a handsome young man though. Jisoo says quickly that no, he is just the new neighbor who recently moved into the unit below hers in the building. The woman says with surprise, the unit below hers, Jisoo? That would be the 8th floor, right? Would be the 8th. Oh, is that the same place that has been really noisy with all the construction work for the past 2 weeks? Park says politely yes. He is the owner of apartment 803. Has all the noise been very disturbing for her daily routine too? The woman laughs it off good-naturedly, saying no, not really. It is just that this is such an old apartment complex where everyone knows each other very well. Rumors and news spreads incredibly quickly around here, so everyone has been quite curious about the major renovation happening. It has been a bit noisy during the day, but seeing such a handsome young man as the actual owner makes it all completely worth it. Park says with genuine remorse that he was not aware he was causing such a disturbance to the neighbors since he has been traveling abroad for business, and he is truly sorry for the inconvenience. The construction work will be finished very soon, he promises. The woman tells him warmly, oh, no worries at all. It was completely bearable, really. Park says he was actually planning to introduce himself to all the neighbors anyway, so this meeting is absolutely perfect timing. Would he be able to ask her to help deliver some fresh fruit to all the residents above and below their floor? The lady says with delight, oh my, really? She just received a particularly good batch of apples this morning. Park says enthusiastically, how about they go with those apples then? They will need enough fruit for about 12 different homes in the building. The lady says with amazement, my goodness, he is quite generous with his neighbors. Park says, turning to Jisoo, what kind of fruit does she personally like the most? Jisoo asks, pointing to herself. Her? She really likes pears when they are in season. Park says with interest, really? These pears look incredibly fresh and ripe. Let them go with these beautiful ones then. Jisoo says with embarrassment, oh, it is really okay. He does not have to buy expensive fruit specifically for her. Jisoo says hesitantly that it was noisy because of all the construction, right? Was that not what she was trying to say earlier when they met? Jisoo says softly, yes, that is correct. Park picks up a heavy carton of fruit and tells the woman to please add this to his bill as well since he will carry this himself. Jisoo asks with concern if the box is not too heavy for him to manage. Park says confidently, not at all. It is just a short walk around the corner to their building. Please tell her parents that he is very sorry for any disturbance and to enjoy the fresh fruit. Jisoo says politely, sure, she will definitely pass along the message. Park says warmly that she should feel free to ask for anything if there is something she remembers needing. Jisoo gets all startled and scared by his intense attention. The scene cuts to several days later, with the father saying with satisfaction that the pears are still incredibly fresh even after a whole week has passed. Has the noisy construction downstairs finally finished completely? The mother says thoughtfully that she does not hear any hammering noise during the day anymore at all. Well, in addition to the delicious pears, the nice guy downstairs sent a lot of other expensive fruits, like apples and more varieties. She is thinking of sending these special braised short ribs as a proper thank you gesture. The father says with understanding, so that is exactly why she put so much care and effort into making them perfect. A gentle knock is heard as Jisoo says hurriedly that she is just heading to the convenience store really quick for something. The mother says helpfully, Jisoo, can she please take this food downstairs to him? Jisoo says with surprise, huh? The short ribs that she spent hours making? The mother says cheerfully, that is exactly right. Since he lives alone, she wonders if he can cook well for himself. She should probably bring him homemade food more often to help. Jisoo jaw drops and thinks to herself with horror, more often than this? She says hopefully is Jihoon not here yet to do this instead? The mother says joyfully that he has not come in yet from his activities. Hurry up and take it downstairs because her arm hurts from holding the heavy container. Jisoo says nervously, okay, while being incredibly anxious about the situation. She steps hesitantly towards his apartment door on the floor below. She thinks worriedly to herself that speaking of which, she has not seen the executive director's face in over a week now. He mentioned that he was really busy with important business trips and meetings. Yeah, he might very well not be home today either, which would be perfect. She puts down the heavy food container and presses the doorbell button, but hears no response at all, so she puts her ear against the door to listen. She thinks to herself with relief that it is completely quiet inside, so he must definitely not be home right now. She thinks to herself that, right, that is such a huge relief, and she guesses she will just take the food back upstairs to her mother. Park suddenly walks up the stairs asking with curiosity if that container is for him. Jisoo looks up with shock to see Park approaching with his travel luggage. He is super shocked to see her like this. He tries to help her, asking if she's not going to take his hand. At first she is hesitant, but soon she gives in and offers her hand. Hyun asks her if she's really okay. She, all blushing, says that she's all good. She pulls away her hands and tells him that this is the braised ribs her mom made, and it's for thanking him for giving her the fruits last time. Hyun says that it seems super yummy, but the guy her bro is like, oops, he's got a lot of luggage, so he won't be able to hold it. So he asks her to bring it for him. They finally get to his room. Unlocking the door, he says to her that if she'd like, she can come in and eat dinner with him. She comes inside and thinks that this place doesn't look like their apartment complex at all. He says that he got it a little bigger, and he even added wardrobes and a balcony. The whole place is shining like crazy. It seems like she has gone to a completely different place. Hyun asks if she'd like to have orange juice or grapefruit. She says orange, but quickly says no, she'll be going, as she was just here to give him the short ribs, so she'll leave now. But he already poured the drink, so he asks her to go ahead and drink it. Hyun sighs to her that if she thinks he's going to eat her, then why is she always this tense around him? She's like, is she? He says to her that if she keeps getting tense like this, he might get the wrong idea. She asks what that would be. He asks her if she's got feelings for him, or if he remembers her. She gets all flushed, wondering why he's bringing that up again. She can't believe that he remembers a one-night stand from 5 years ago, and wonders what he wants to do about it. She doesn't understand what the hell he's even thinking. Hyun says that if she doesn't want to explain, it's all right. Hyun then gets a call. He says to her that he'll take this call so she can go and take some rest. As he's talking, she thinks that maybe he's talking with a girl. After all, it would be strange if he didn't have a girl. She thinks that they're not even that close, yet she's in his home. She drinks the juice and plans to run off before he gets the wrong idea. He is talking when he peeks and sees that she is moving around here and there. Hyun calls her, but she's like, okay, she enjoyed the juice, and she leaves just like that, leaving him all confused, standing there.